Hi there, we're kind of finishing up on some animating infographic objects within InDesign. I found this infographic on freepik.com. I thought it was cool because I had the paper airplane and it had this path. So I thought, well, this would be a great way for me to show you how to draw a vector path and have an object follow it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pen tool. I'm just going to come down here. I'm going to start the first anchor point right over here on top of this circle. I'm going to draw a little path that kind of goes around the neighborhood here a little bit. And back down and around and up to this point. So I've drawn this path. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my black selection tool. The path is still selected. I'm going to hold my shift key and I'm going to click on the plane. I'm going to come over to my animation panel and there's a little button down here at the lower right called convert this to a motion path. So I'm going to click there. Now what that does, that locks that airplane object onto that path. If I want to see how the animation is going to end, there's a little button down here called show animation proxy. And that's going to show me a ghost of where the plane's going to end up. Now, I'm going to turn that off for a second so we can preview this. I'm going to click preview in just a second. Let me make this bigger so you can see it. Now I'm going to go ahead and play. Now that runs really fast, so I still have it selected. I'm going to come over here probably and change the duration. Let's say 4 seconds. And I'm going to play it again. Much nicer, maybe a little bit slow, but not too bad at all here. So I'm going to minimize that for a second. I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you how you can edit the path. But first, a word from my sponsor. When I press and drag on this, the path and the airplane or the objects move together. It's all one piece. So maybe that's all I need to do. Let's check the preview again here. Yeah, actually that's pretty good. Now I don't like the plane ending this far off, so let's double click and I'll show you how to edit the path. Now this is tricky. When you click on the airplane and the path, it selects it and I can see this green path line. Now if I hover over the path, it says it's a motion path and I can click to edit it. Well, that's a little bit of a lie, I think. You click on it, and then I'm going to hit my A on my keyboard to bring up my direct selection tool. What that is, that allows me to directly select the anchor points or the paths and make a change to them. I'm going to take this anchor point. You see how you get over close to it, and when you're hovering over it, you get a little square by the arrow? That denotes that you're over an anchor point. So I'm going to pull this back to about here. Now I know I'm guessing. I'm going to go back to my black arrow. I can maybe turn on the proxy and see if it'll show me anything. Okay, that looks pretty good, but let's see the real deal here. Let me go over and make this bigger and let me preview it. Yeah, that's ideal. So know if you want to edit the path, you can click on the object you've assigned to this motion path, see the green path, hover over the path. When it says motion path, click to edit, click it, and then you have to go to a tool that can manipulate those anchor points and paths. And that one tool you could use is a direct select tool. That's the A key. Now I believe I shouldn't take this chance, but I believe I can go back to the pen tool and I can hover over the path and say I want to add an anchor point here. So I can add anchor points. Oh, I don't want that anchor point. I can hover over the anchor point that exists with the pen tool, and it says pen minus, and I can remove it. So not only can I move the anchor points around with the A tool or the direct select tool, I can add anchor points, I can delete anchor points, I can add curve points, I can add straight points. I can basically modify the path the way I want to. Here's the only downside I can think of on this. This airplane is always going to face in this initial direction. It's not going to orient itself to the direction of the path. If you want something as complicated as that, you're going to have to go over to After Effects or Adobe Animate to have that function. We don't have that function in here. I say it's good enough. Can maybe rotate the plane a little bit so it's more like this, and then we can preview it. Let me try that again. I was a little slow. Yeah, I've got no problem with that. This is a simple infographic. We're not animating a Disney movie. So there's a little bit about a motion path and attaching an object to that. Okay, I'm going to save. I'm going to come over here on my arrow. Now I want this arrow to animate shooting in here and hitting this target right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a path. In fact, I'm going to do it easy. I'm going to take the line tool and I'm going to try something. I'm going to start off screen, or excuse me, on the canvas, off canvas, and I'm going to drag this anchor point of this path line to here. I'm going to hold the shift key down. I'm going to get my black arrow and I'm going to click the arrow itself, and I'm going to connect the arrow to the motion path by picking in the animation panel convert to motion path. Now I'm going to move this. Now here's something I teach in my classes. It's called the 1 ounce of patience rule. If I want to drag something around, look at here. All I'm dragging is an outline of the bounding box. That doesn't help me diddly. But if I press and hold and wait 1 second, then when I drag it, I have my actual ghost of my object. In this case, I actually have the path. I'm going to put the corner of that right over, boom, the center of the target. Let's see how this looks. Make it bigger for you first. Click on play or preview. Now, notice how it overshot the target. Now, let's think about that. Let me select this. Now, I've got a couple of guesses, and one guess is, can I check the proxy? Yeah, you see how the end of the proxy tells me it's going to end there? If I move this up, let me press and hold, wait 1 second, and I'll move this up a little bit and check the proxy. Let me click off. Let me click on. The proxy's right there. Let me move it down. Let me click off. And then select it. And I notice it's still off right there. You can see that. Let me zoom up. Spacebar. Okay, so let me do this. I'm going to click on here. Sorry for the little confusion here. Let me zoom out. I'm going to click on here. And I'm going to take my arrow keys and I'm going to nudge this over and up. So this proxy shows me it's right there. Let me fit in window. Right there. Not a problem. How you like that? So I assigned just a path I drew with the line tool to my object and had it go directly to a point where I wanted it to go. A couple other minor things. Now we're getting to the point where you're actually animating things just because you can. Here's a cloud. You might want to check this before you do this. I named this cloud 3 right. Over here's some funny presets down in here. One's called pulse. Look at the butterfly here. So that's what this cloud's going to do. Let's see here. Preview, make it bigger. Watch this cloud. So I'm not sure I want to do those kind of things. You do too much of them, and then people say, "Oh, did you see that cloud move?" But they have no idea what the data you were trying to show them might be. I'm going to go ahead and pick none. Let's see what we've got here. Dance. Yeah, let's try that. So again, you have a capability of adding these animations to basically any object. The biggest thing I wanted to show you here was the motion path and having an object follow that and be able to adjust the path. Remember also you've got your timing panel over here to control how you want those to happen. There's other things over here too that you can set up. So maybe we'll venture in here again, maybe we won't, but we'll talk to you when we get back.